All right. So I'm going to start that again. Oh, I think anxiety was the greatest thing to ever happen to me in my life, and panic attacks. And if you're experiencing them right now, you're probably thinking, how could you ever say that? It's horrible. It sucks. And I used to say the same thing when it was happening to me, that it was the worst thing that's ever happened in my life. And why do I deserve this? Why did I? Why you give me this curse, God? Uh, how long am I gonna have to suffer with these horrible sensations? And so I bet you're wondering, why the change? Why now do I think it was the best thing to ever happen to me in my life? Well, because it was a major, massive transformation that was happening to me outside of my will. And I don't know if you want to say it was God or if you want to say it was the universe or your own body's trauma regulation. But whatever it was, uh, it decided that it was time for me to become a different person. And the way that it was going to happen was it was going to break me down to a shell of who I am. And basically, just like Neo in the Matrix, I was going to be reborn into another world outside of a egg sac looking thing and come out like a baby and just. That's basically what happened. Because when I started having those panic and attacks and anxiety, it took me to the level of like a baby. I was useless. I couldn't work. I didn't want to leave the house. I could barely sleep. I had to shake to sleep at night. I've told you, and it cracked me down to such a pathetic and weak level that I had to basically I dissociated from my personality for one, because it was so nervous system shocking. But it broke me down to such a level I basically had to rebuild myself in a different way. And part of the way that I learned to be a better person through it is I started telling myself that no matter how bad the anxiety and panic makes me feel, I'm not going to change the way I act to others and treat others. So I wasn't going to let it affect me on the outside. And of course it did, because I would talk all nervous. Hey, what's up, guys? I looked like I was always on the verge of a breakdown. But due to the fact that I refused to change the way I talk to others, and the fact that I was so on the verge of panic at all times, I started actually just being a lot kinder to others unintentionally, and having more empathy for others as well. And it's weird when you're so far beaten down and desperate, you almost become more empathetic, and you want to help other people more, and you want to know how they're feeling, and you want to make them feel better, because you can't make yourself feel better. You're completely lost on that. So the least you could do is try to help somebody else. But anyway, before all the anxiety attacks, sure, I was happy and I was calm. I was kind of at peace for a while, but I didn't realize I was just going through the motions, and I was kind of living like in the Matrix. And I had anger issues. I would have rage outbursts on people. I would take out my anger and depression on other people, and I was always depressed in a way. I would just sleep all the time. And even though I felt happy, I felt I was okay in life, I was kind of just faking it. It was kind of like I was just going through I felt like an NPC, you know? The panic attacks broke me down so much. It like awoke in me. It changed my whole personality. I through rebuilding myself through that immense fear and panic, I started being nicer to others, caring more about others, not worrying so much about myself. And then I couldn't be depressed. I was so anxious and so fearful all the time that I was in such a state of nervous system alertness, I couldn't actually be depressed. And I used to remember thinking, man, I miss depression. Depression was a lot better than whatever this is. And so I went through every single possible thing you could ever go through to try to fix it. And, we've talked about it, the meditation and diet changes and exercise and white tiger tantra and root chakra meditation, all this chakra alignments and anything you could possibly think of that's spiritual, any book that you'd think could possibly help anxiety. Read them all, did it all. And some of them helped. Some of the practices helped in ways, but really none of them, not really any of that stuff helped directly for the anxiety. The only thing that helped the anxiety was when I figured out about letting go. And the fact that once I figured out I have to let go of my aversion to the anxiety for it to run its course and go away, that kind of changed my whole viewpoint on it. And it was at that point when I realized I could just let it run its course through my body, do whatever it wants to do, shape me into however it wants to shape me, use it to build character. And if I just let it flow through me and accept those horrible sensations, and I just take it, man, take it on the chin. Let the sensations rock you like you're on a roller coaster. Just ride the roller coaster till it's off. Step off the seat, you're done. You don't ride a roller coaster at the theme park, and then when you're done, you have uh, PTSD for the next 2 years because the roller coaster was so traumatic. Just get off, man. It's over. You're good now. So I learned to get off the roller coaster, and looking back on it now, I would have never been able to be this calm and at peace in my life, even with all the problems I have going on, even with all the sadness I have. You know, it was right when I was just getting over, I was starting to forget about the anxiety attacks. I was starting to feel better in life. And then I got the call, I got a text with the obituary of one of my best friends and that he had taken his own life. And when I saw that news, I it was like in the movies where they say, "Are you sitting down right now?" And they tell them the news, and the person goes, "Oh." It was like I almost fainted. I fell on the ground, and I was just like, "No, no, 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 no." Oh my God, I was. It was just like panic attacks all over again. But I never felt that shock to my system of finding news that was so bad and so shocking. I never had news like that, and I thought, man, not now. Made it about me. So why'd you have to do this? And you go through every stage of grief, and that was such a learning experience too. But I'll tell you what, after going to that funeral and you seeing his daughters there, his little kids crying, and his dad crying, and everybody that came out for him, and it's just such a heavy scene. It was so horrible and so dark, and it it, it opens up a new thing, and it opens up a new feeling in life that you've never had, um, and it'll change you. It doesn't have to ruin you and make you depressed and miserable your whole life, and it won't. It's made me have a new relationship with grief and sadness I never thought I could have, and love. And it made me realize how much I love my friends. Um, and it's made me more in touch with my emotions. I know that about once a week I need to cry hard about it. And there's a song that I associate with him, and it's called Rebirth by Orbit Culture. I'll listen to that, and I always tend to do it in the shower. Listen to that song when I want to cry about it. I just, I sing, I let that song rip. I sing it really, really loud, and there's a breakdown in it. It's really heavy metal, and it always reminds me of him, and reminds me of people that take their own lives. And I cry and I sing it and I let that energy out for that. But that's another topic. Um, what I want to just talk about today is anxiety can change your life for the better, and it will if you let it. And there's a reason it's happening. And if you fight it and fight it and fight it forever, you'll fight it till the day you die. But if you accept it and you let it run its course through you and do its thing, it will be the best thing that ever happened in your life, because it's going to shape you into a better person. It's going to make you a well-rounded person. It's going to make you a strong person. You'll learn the techniques of letting go, and you can look it up. Just type in letting go. There's a book. I don't remember who wrote it right now. I really don't, but it's called Letting Go, and it's yellow, and it's going to be the best thing you've ever read in your life. If you're into that. If you want to read a book, but you don't really have to read a book to know how to do that. It's just inside you. It's so simple. It's like the most advanced spiritual practices of all time. Anyone can ever just do it without even knowing it exists. The more knowledge that you try to fill your head with about spiritual practices, the worse it is, because you have to try to conceptualize all this stuff, but there's no conceptualizing it. Letting go is just letting go. That's all you do. Let it go. Let go. Shh. Don't push it away. Don't tuck it down. Don't hide it. Let it go. Shh. Let it flow through you. Let anxiety work on you and make you different. You can't be the same your entire life. I know people always have this thing now. It's love yourself. Be yourself. Never change who you are. And that's like some kind of naive third wave feminist type of mentality. It's like you're going to have to change who you are a lot in life. You can't always be yourself. And who is yourself? There's no self. We're all one. And that's just ego talking. I'm not going to cling to myself. That's terrible. And I used to really hard. So when that happened, and that dark night of the soul happened, and that ego death kind of thing happened, which anxiety forced me to go through, I was able to let go. And now I'm a totally different person. But I'm telling you, I can guarantee you there's a lot of people in this world that would get along with me a lot better now than they would the old me. And there's people who I've screamed at and yelled at and been an asshole to and treated poorly. And I was cocky and rude. And I thought I was hot stuff. And I don't know why. I thought I was the funniest guy in the world. It humbled me. It humbled me so much because it taught me how weak I could possibly be. And also, and all of us, no matter how strong we are, we're like one bad day away from being the weakest person in the entire world. We're one horse ride away from being paraplegic. Don't cling to yourself. Don't cling to your identity that you've created for yourself. All you need to worry about is love, loving others, opening your heart to others, and emitting a good, vibrant energy to the world around you everywhere you go, and helping, being kind. Let everything else go. Just let it go. And if you're having anxiety, let it work on you. Let it do its job on you. Let it run its course. Let it go through you. Let it flow. Flow with your days. Imagine you're floating on a cloud everywhere you go. Just my cloud. Imagine you're Goku floating on your Nimbus everywhere. Every day, everywhere you go, you're floating carefree through every day. And do not fight the anxiety. You might have to ride with it for 2 more years, but it'll go by fast and you'll be better than ever at the end. And you'll be able to accept any conditions that life throws at you with intrigue. You'll be able to look at anything and say, wow, that's interesting. Oh, look, my house burned down. Interesting. Well, look at that. That's actually kind of beautiful. I just lost everything in my life. What are we going to do now? This must be happening for a reason. I must need to rebuild, and I must need a total transformation. You know, obviously you're going to be upset that your house burned down. Who wouldn't? But what I'm saying is you'll have a perspective on life that allows you to handle challenges better and differently. And that's important because the older you get, the more challenges you're going to have, and they're going to get harder and harder and scarier and scarier. You're going to have to feel fear. You're going to have to feel panic and discomfort all the time. And going through panic attacks and anxiety is just a good way to prepare you for those feelings. Now, you do have to get your nervous system regulated, but that's another thing. You're going to read all this stuff about nervous system regulation. It'll help you a little bit, but that's something that takes a long time. You got to make sure you're not getting any mold toxicity or anything like that, and get your diet right. Sure, do some exercise, but if you want to regulate your nervous system, you have to change the way that you act and react every single day, little by little. Change your habits into calm habits, and it could take a year even, and eventually you'll just notice, oh, I feel better now. It's not going to happen overnight. There's no quick fix to any of this stuff. um, but the quickest fix you can do is letting go. You start letting go, you'll feel it instantly. You can make certain changes like that, it'll affect you overnight. But the real habitual stuff, it takes years. This is why I'm doing the semen retention and no porn. I'm not looking. I'm trying to stop looking at short form media and constant scrolling and just staring at my phone all the time. It's really tough, but it's important that we do that, and we look for authenticity. You know, everything's trying to sell you something now, teach you a course, affiliate marketing, ads, um, sell you somebody's book. I don't want to do anything like that. I just want to have authentic connections and conversations with people, because you don't find anything authentic anymore. And that's what I want to do, is connect face to face and just be able to talk about stuff. Even if 3 people see this ever and watch 5 minutes of it and they get one good tip out of it, I'm going to feel like that was a huge success. And over time, I'll get better at talking for 20 minutes straight and not rambling into different topics. I'm sure it probably sounds now like I'm going through so many different topics and ideas at once. I'm probably not looking into the camera all the time. I know in my last video I was looking at myself instead of into the lens, so like that. And I also sometimes have a slightly lazy eye, so I'm very self-conscious of that. But I'm going to get better as we go. And really, even if nobody watches any of these ever, for me it's a journal. So there, at the end of the day, there's no wasted effort, you know. It's helping me, or it's helping you, or it's helping all of us, and this is good. So I'd be happy to have conversations with anybody who wants to, and I'm gonna try to post one every day, and we'll see where it goes. Anyway, I think that's enough for now. So thank you. See you later.